Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Fake Nerds Watch. This is for Star Trek Lower Decks. I am here with Downright Nerdy's own Michael Karls. How are you, sir?
Doing great, man. As always, really happy to be a part of this. Thank you again for having me on.
Of course.
Star Trek Lower Decks.
There are
Best
two
thing on
people
TV right now.
Right? There are two people I love talking Star Trek with. It is you and Cookie, and unfortunately, Cookie couldn't be here. He is indisposed right now, but we are here to catch up. We haven't done last week's episode or this week's episode, so we're going to be talking about episode 5, which is the Spy Humongous, which I wrote these down beforehand this time, and episode 6, which is where pleasant fountains lie.
Yep. And just to be clear, and just to be fair, Cookie is most likely trying to figure out a reason why Star Wars is better than Star Trek and just failing miserably, because this is such a great show. This is the best thing on TV right now. Spoiler alert, I loved both these 2 episodes. Just throwing that out right now. Yes, the Spy Humongous is the backlit episode.
Yeah, he can't defend himself. That's so cruel of you.
No, not at all. Yeah.
Yes, the backlit episode is packed with a lot of fun Easter eggs and callbacks. They call Captain. Oh my God, what's the captain's name?
Janeway.
No, not that.
Well,
one.
I mean, they pretend that it's Janeway.
Yeah, but
I'm talking about the
Cerritos captain. So bad with names.
Freeman?
Captain Freeman, thank you.
Yeah.
They call Captain Freeman Captain Janeway, which, by the way, I wanted to tell you, specifically you, I have been listening to the audiobook for the autobiography of Captain Catherine Janeway.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that available on Audible?
It was available on Audible, and it is
credits.
It is read by Kate Mulgrew herself.
No way.
Yeah.
How long is that biography?
It's shorter than the Kirk and the Picard ones, but I don't know how much shorter.
Are the Kirk and Picard ones also read by the respective actors? No. Okay.
No.
So then I would only listen to the Kate Mulgrew one. Okay.
Yeah, they don't have audiobooks for the Picard or the Kirk or even the Spock one. I don't think. But when I found out that they had this one, it's so cool to hear Kate Mulgrew talking like Catherine Janeway again. It's so much fun.
Well, I'll have to listen to it, and then maybe we could do another show on it.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be awesome. We could do a little special.
Yes.
Okay, but we're not here to talk about Janeway. Nope. We're here to talk about the fact that the Orville season 3 is coming in March. No, we're not. They just announced the trailer.
The best live-action Star Trek show.
Boy, that's true. So the Spy Humongous has the Packlids claiming they want peace with the Federation. They want to stop all the hostilities. But really, they're trying very badly to put a spy on the Cerritos that they think is commanded by Catherine Janeway.
Badly, yet they lightweight succeed.
A little bit. It's just so funny seeing the main plot, which is the Packlid. No, that's the B plot. The main plot is the lower our crew trying to clean up all the messes from the away teams. But the Packlid is like taking a picture of its foot and going out an airlock.
Yep.
Which I thought was the funniest thing. The airlock one got me in stitches.
Did it? Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Because it's got the bit where it's like they're like, "Where is he?" And then they see him like outside the window, and then he wakes up in the medical bench, and the doctor who you hate is just like, "Holy shit!" I just thought that was funny.
Going back to the main plot, I love this. I think this is more of a Tendi episode, in regards to their plot line, just because. Yeah. I mean, she correct me if I'm wrong, but she's the one that transferred everybody to cleanup duty so that she can, have time with her friends doing this Starfleet stuff. And I thought that was just great. I loved it. I loved every bit of it. And they're all having a terrible time until the end, where Tendy's kind of like, you know what, I give up, yada yada. And Boimler has his Will Riker moment, when all the other red shirts, they try to bring him into the crowd or into their group where they essentially don't do anything and just help each other, like move up in rank and quickly. But I loved Tendi and Boimler in this episode, especially Boimler at the very end.
I think Tendi and Boimler are definitely the standouts. Boimler this season has been coming out really well.
And we'll talk more about the next episode too, because he had a big next
Yeah.
episode as well.
In regards to Tendi though, what I realized, so look, it is not unfair to say that Star Trek Lower Decks is a Rick and Morty clone. It is following in the footsteps of Rick and Morty. The main showrunner came from Rick and Morty, and it's much the same way as Solar Opposites. But what I think Lower Decks strikes the right balance of is that where Rick and Morty can sometimes be nihilistic and mean, and not, it's not like yelling at the audience or anything, but it can be nihilistic. Star Trek isn't, and I think Lower Decks is able to infuse that Star Trek innocence and optimism to the Rick and Morty formula of comedy. And I think Lower Decks is probably the best Rick and Morty clone out there.
And just piggybacking off of that, the self-deprecation that Star Trek does is so lighthearted, and it's so well written that like as a Star Trek fan, as a Boimler watching this, right? We're not so like, I guess what was the word that you called me where I go, oh, I always find something wrong with
contrarian.
Contrarian, yeah. We're not so contrarian, I guess, when it comes to like the little jabs that they do to their own show,
Yeah, there's never a moment where I feel like Lower Decks is punching down on Star Trek.
Right.
They're constantly making jabs and laughing with and not at, and I think that's such an interesting balance to constantly see them succeed at every week.
And to be fair with Rick and Morty, I mean, yeah, they do that a lot, but that's kind of the point of their show, I think.
Right.
So I think that it works. It's just a different way of working, right? And it shows the range that these writers have, right?
Yeah.
And the producers. So these guys are, not that they're already haven't been going places and been places, but they're going to continue to if they keep it up.
Yeah, I think the what was really fun to see, and now going kind of into the meat of the episode, is this idea that there are these Lower Deck ensigns that don't really do any work. They just kind of keep trying to get promoted and become a captain, and Boimler has to kind of remind them through his arc, say like, look, Starfleet is a job. That's how we learn to be captains, is because we do the job.
Well, the funniest joke about this entire episode is that all these red shirts are not doing anything. So when it finally comes time for them to actually do something, they don't know how to do it, and that's why all the red shirts always died in the old Kirk.
You're right.
Right. So they do that because they have no experience, because all they do, they just look down on others as like, oh, we don't do that kind of stuff. Well, that kind of stuff will eventually save you when you actually get put on an away mission.
Yeah. When they look at your uniforms, like the captain literally wears the same uniform.
Yeah.
I think that the Boimler stuff might be my favorite stuff that Boimler has done,
especially in these two episodes were absolutely incredible Boimler character development episodes.
The next episode is probably my favorite episode of the season.
And it was funny, is like, I thought that, well, for Boimler, for me, I thought this was going to be the best Boimler episode. Then they just come right back and counterpunch me with a left hook and give me that next one. But anyways, we'll talk about that in a bit.
It is interesting to watch like Tendi kind of be disillusioned with this thing that she was really excited to do with her friends, and then have Rutherford and Mariner have to realize that they took their cynicism too far, and it caused Tendi to kind of like flip out in a very sci-fi way, only to realize that, like, this shouldn't have been so bad. Like, we're friends. Some of the stuff is kind of cool. And I think that that's a fun little lesson that Mariner has to learn. I think, you kind of think about it as like two lessons are learned by Mariner and Rutherford. Rutherford learns how to kind of be a better friend, and Mariner learns to be less cynical.
Yep.
And I think that's so.
I mean,
expertly crafted.
It's such a great balance that this quadruple friendship is with them, and they're two offshoots, right? There's obviously Boimler and Mariner that have their tension, and then there's Rutherford and Tendi. But yeah, they both are. Each pairing is kind of two sides to a coin,
Mm-hmm.
and it's fun watching them both work together,
Yeah.
and interact.
The Pakled plot line. We get more of the new security officer.
Oh yeah, and we haven't seen him since what's his name came back.
Yeah, since
Right.
Shax came back.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we've seen him in the background, but he hasn't really had any speaking lines since that episode, and I forgot his name at this point.
I'll
But
find it.
it was kind of cool to see him come back because I like that idea of that species trying to be in Starfleet with a translator for his metaphor speak.
And it's funny. I like that they. I mean, it would be totally fun to have him speak in metaphors throughout the entire. Like they didn't like if they didn't have a translator machine for that. But
Mhm.
I mean, that could just be way too annoying. I think
I
for
al-
anybody.
I always liken it to how many Batman writers won't use the Riddler as a main villain in their comic books because they don't want to write riddles.
Yeah.
They don't want to have to keep writing riddles. Yeah,
Which I think is a shame because I love the Riddler as a villain.
he's my favorite villain.
Is he really? Oh, okay, nice.
So I'm really excited for the new Batman movie because he's the main villain.
And I think it works better. I mean, not to talk about Batman too much, but I think a Riddler storyline would work best on a movie screen,
Sure.
like on during just a 2-hour bit.
Yeah,
But,
Batman.
I
Batman
think,
Forever.
yeah, I could see. I could see why some writers though would not want to do it over a course of 7 to 14 issues. Like some kind of arc.
Yeah,
But,
it's tough because you got to write all these new riddles and you got to answer them. But anyway, we're not here.
Although just real quick, I
Yeah.
thought that the Long Halloween was going to be the riddle. The whole time I was reading that, I was thinking to myself this because I only read it for the first time just a few weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and I've had it sitting there. I hadn't read it, but the whole time I'm thinking like this is the best detective story. I'm like trying to think like this has to be the Riddler. This is just all kind of weird, but sure it's not. I don't want to spoil it, but
No, don't spoil it.
Yeah.
You should watch the animated 2-parter that came out recently.
That's right. Yeah, there's one that came out. Okay,
It's good.
Yeah, well, all right.
I liked it quite a bit. All right. Anyway, that's enough Batman talk on the Star Trek episode. Yeah. So, Shax and the Captain Freeman, are trying to deal with Pakled. You know what's interesting? This is the first time we've seen like the Pakled planet, and seeing more of their species.
Not only their species, but like how their politics work.
Yeah.
And it's kind of a mess.
I don't remember them. I know this is a comedy show, but like I don't remember them being this dumb in The Next Generation.
They were.
Were they?
I mean, they sounded very unintelligent. I'll just put it that way. I mean, the way that I honestly think that Lower Decks nailed them on the head, just in regards to the comparison to TNG when we first were introduced to them.
When were they introduced? What season was this?
3.
I don't recall. As I'm getting them mixed up with the tactician guy who put Riker on the Farragut. If you remember that episode.
I'm sorry, say it one more time.
Remember that episode where Riker and Picard were in this game, and Riker was on the USS Farragut?
Yes.
And they were that guy who instigated that game. He looks like a Pakled in my head.
Yeah, he's not a Pakled though. He's
right.
one of the he's one of the guys that
that guy.
the game with Data.
Yeah, I don't. So I'm getting him mixed up with the Pakleds.
Gotcha.
But I know like instinctively that's not the case because I'm a good Star Trek fan. People in the comments.
Samaritan Snare was the first appearance, and that's season 2, episode 17.
Wow, way back then.
Way back when.
And the whole idea.
We had a different doctor too.
Yeah. Oh, Pulaski.
I didn't mind her.
I hate Pulaski.
We had that conversation when.
What a horribly racist woman.
Yeah, but I mean, she started to lightweight come around.
No, that's why she got kicked off the ship.
I guess
that's not why.
Well, she came around on Fistful of Datas. No, which one's the one where Data is on trial for being either a machine or an intelligent being.
Oh, the episode that we first
The
meet.
best episode of Star Trek, I think, in my book. One of
Really,
the
the best
best.
episode of Star Trek.
Top 3, I think.
That's the one that Picard tried to be like, hey, remember this episode? We're gonna try and do that, and then they didn't do that well.
Exactly.
What was that episode called?
But it was a
I
very
just watched it
powerful.
last year.
Same here.
Yeah.
I'll find it.
Okay. This show is a lot of fun because we get to half remember a lot of episodes, and then you got to look them up to see what they were. My girlfriend's going through Star Trek right now, Next Generation right now, actually.
Good.
Anyway, Star Trek's great. I love Star Trek. Anyway, so it's really cool to see that like Lower Decks has turned these pack lids and is able to actually build from the ground up what the society is and have it make sense and in line with what we've seen of Star Trek and the species before. And it's already such a wild, outlandish thing to be like, hey, what if we let them alone and they became like a dangerous force in the galaxy? And now we got to figure that out.
Yeah. So we find out that the Packlids, I guess their whole thing is like whoever has the biggest hat is like they've
got
honcho
a king,
charge,
a queen,
right?
an emperor.
Yeah. There's all these different levels of power, and as soon as they're I guess towards the end, Captain Freeman, she's trying to negotiate with somebody, and she's trying to figure out who has the biggest hat. Every time she finds someone with a bigger hat or with a big hat, they find like, I don't have the biggest hat. They have the biggest hat, yada yada, and it keeps going for a few minutes, and then there's like some revolt,
revolution.
Some rebels. They crash through this main hall, and they steal a hat. Or did it kill them? I can't remember. Did they kill
I think they killed them. Yeah,
I think they killed him. Stole the hat. Like, oh, we're gonna be free. Oh, big shiny hat. He puts it on. I'm the king of the Packlids now. Like their entire thing. I mean, I thought that was just hilarious because I mean, they're dumb, right?
They're dumb. But what's so weird is that like when the spy shows up back on Packlid Planet, that like the rebel who is now the emperor knows the score. He knows what happened. He was like, we tricked you, Janeway. We put a spy on your. How would that guy know about the spy if he was just now named the emperor?
They're dumb. It's dumb.
I guess so. And then they're so dumb that
nothing makes sense with them, and I think that's the point. Like nothing. It didn't make sense.
But they did something that was far more dangerous. That one of their plans is really dangerous. They're going to try and put a bomb on Earth.
Yeah. But again, I mean, Starfleet did not take that seriously because of their intelligence level.
Right, but I mean, next thing you know, the founders are on Earth. So
the founders are way more smart than.
That's true. But if Starfleet. But the whole point of Star Trek Lower Decks, if you remember the first season when they go back to the planet where the computer took over, not this one, not the next episode, but like a different one, where because they're like we don't check up on these things, we leave them be after our first contact, and we're just like okay, but we should be checking up on these planets. The idea of let's not take the Packlids seriously is why they got into this problem in the first place.
Yeah.
So you underestimate the species, and there's going to be a bomb on Earth.
And let's not forget that the Packlids, for a good 45 minutes of that episode in season 2, they got the best of the Enterprise until they kind of figured them out.
That's true. And they've been giving Riker a run for his money in this show.
Yeah. So. Yeah, they've been. They definitely Riker's having fun, but he's definitely giving him a run for his money.
Speaking of Riker, though, what I think is the best plot of this episode is Boimler dealing with the red shirts and trying to learn how to be more of a captain. And I think he's really good when he's like put in the situation of like giving the captain speech. Whatever. By the way, the Enterprise D, nice touch seeing that bridge.
Yep.
And we get to see more of kind of these what is it, 4 red shirts?
There's about 4 of them, yeah.
Yeah. Try to only want Boimler because he's been with Riker. He's worked on the Titan.
Yeah.
And they think that they can help him.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have their own selfish agenda, obviously, and they but Boimler knows, because he's had time on to watch Riker and other great leaders. He knows that it's not about mimicking them. It's about taking the best parts of all these people that influence you and becoming a better officer for it, right?
Mm-hmm.
And in the long run, it's not about just mimicking, because that doesn't always work, right?
Yeah.
Um, and
You know,
the red
Riker
shirts,
isn't like Picard.
no.
He's his
And
own
Picard
captain.
isn't like Janeway, and Janeway isn't like Cisco, And I mean, just every captain has their own strengths and weaknesses, and every person in Starfleet has their own strengths and weaknesses, and they just got to figure out what it is about them that is strong, what it is about them that's weak. Have work on the weak stuff, but still, if you put in the work, like actually put in the work, which these red shirts they don't do, because they make everybody else do it, and they just kind of just skate by. If you put in the work, you're gonna get the reward.
Yeah, and the reward here is to just find the acting captain role when there's no senior staff on the bridge, which is a great reward because you get actual command experience. But what's his name? Jack, the first officer. I forgot his last name. He doesn't give a shit who the acting captain of the Cerritos is when there's no senior staff. But he does care what Boimler did. He goes out of his way to be like, you look at his body image, his body language when he's talking to the other ensign, and he's just like, yeah, sure, whatever, I don't care. Hey, Boimler, well, good work today.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And Boimler came out on top, even though the other guy got the
right.
Yeah. So, and it's got a good message too. It's you do the work, you learn, and you do the work, and you get rewarded.
Yeah, I mean, cutting corners only gets you so far, especially in a position like this. The commanding officers, they see right through that.
Yeah. Anyway, I think that leads us really well into the next episode.
I think so too.
Which is Where Pleasant Fountains Lie, which I think is my favorite episode of the season so far.
Okay. I wouldn't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, the show just keeps getting better and better.
It does.
As far as I'm concerned. But this episode also said to me, like, we don't need to keep doing comedy. We can do Star Trek.
There was a lot of comedy in this.
There was a lot of comedy, but the whole point, the whole thing with like Boimler and Mariner's confrontation reminded me a lot of the Orville. And there's a reason why I brought up the Orville early in this episode, is because I think in season 2 of the Orville, they found a really good balance of toning down the comedy but turning up the drama, and finding that balance of still being a comedic show, still being a workplace comedy, but also having the kind of drama that Star Trek is known for. And I think Lower Decks is finding that balance, and I think they found it with this episode. And perhaps going forward, they'll turn down some of that outlandish comedy in favor of a more Orville-like structure.
I don't know if, I mean, while this was such a great episode, I think one of Lower Decks' big strengths is its comedy. So I hope they don't. I mean, I wouldn't mind maybe a 60-40 split type of thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying like completely like the other way around, more drama or not. I'm saying maybe I think Lower Decks is starting to get more comfortable doing the Star Trek drama that we're used to.
I see what you mean. Got it.
As well as the comedy that they're known for.
Yeah. So I just wanted Commander Billups, the
Prince Billups,
the chief engineer. We find out that he's a prince.
Yeah.
He gave up his throne in order to work for Starfleet, and his mom is the queen of some planet, and it's a planet where I guess years ago there were dragons, and it was colonized by these Ren Fair geeks, and they essentially made an entire planet based on Ren Fair stuff, which I think is freaking hilarious, because you always see people at Ren Fair sometimes have dressed up in Star Trek. Like, you don't see it go the other way around. But I think it's hilarious.
It's so in line with Star Trek, because like, of course that would happen. There's a whole planet in the Next Generation where it was colonized by the Irishmen in the 2200s, and they never expanded from that.
Yeah,
it's an alright episode. I won't say I love it.
I loved it a lot. But then again, I say that a lot about any TNG episode.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that like it's so in line. Like, of course there would be this like these Ren Fair people who would obviously progress and advance technologically speaking, but like also be really excited when they see like, oh, there are real dragons on this planet and we get to tame them, we get to live in castles and whatnot. By the way, fun fact about this episode, do you know who voices Philip's mom?
Gosh, I recognize the voice. No, go ahead, tell me.
So it's June Diane Rayfield, who is married to Paul Scheer. Paul Scheer is the voice of Billups.
So, did you know who the voice of Agamus is?
No.
You ready to get your mind blown?
Sure.
Jeffrey Combs.
Oh, yes, I did know that. I love Jeffrey Combs.
That was a little anticlimactic now.
Sorry. Well, yeah, I wanted to like dedicate a lot to Jeffrey Combs, so I'm glad you brought that up. But I wanted to just mention how weird it is that that the guy who plays Billups, his wife, is playing his mom.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, so we find out that the queen has she puts out a distress call to the Cerritos, and she says like, hey, there's something wrong with my engines and we need your chief engineer. And that's when we find out that Billups is that's the mom.
Billups needs to have sex in order to become king.
Yeah, and there's a couple of lines where she's like, I hope my mom doesn't try to have sex with me again. I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
I mean, if any episode of this show has caught me off guard, that was the one. This takes the crown right here.
Even Rutherford is just kind of like, maybe you don't say it that way.
Yeah.
My mom keeps trying to get me to have sex.
Yeah. So we find out that if he does, then he automatically is bound to take the crown as king of the land. And it turns out this whole engineering thing was a big scam to get him on board. And she even faked her death, and he feels obligated to give up his virginities to and become king and save up. He even takes off his comm badge and puts in his resignation.
And
until Tendi comes to save the day.
We fake that they fake killed Rutherford also. And talking about like the drama in this episode also, like it was really sincere how they handled the fact that Tendi just lost her best friend.
It was so sincere. I honestly thought that they did it.
I legitimately thought for a second, I was like,
and I thought that, man, this show has balls.
Yeah.
You know, and I loved it. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I was almost a little disappointed when I found out that he came back, because it had such an impact initially on me, but it was fine. It was okay.
I thought that, you know, what would happen, what I thought would be interesting, because I don't think they would kill a main character really. But I thought they would parallel his moment with Shax. So like he would come back by the last episode and have gone through the same thing that Shax did and have an understanding with Like I thought we were going to parallel Shax's story.
I can't tell you.
Yeah. So I thought we'd get something like that, because, you know, we do have a bit of that with his reboot in the last season. Yeah. But, you know, because of the reboot of the last season, I just kind of felt it would be unfair if we did it to him again.
Yeah. So yeah, all the while. So I guess Tendi, she realizes that his implant is still transmitting, and she goes to try to find it. And lo and behold, he's in this mess hall, and they're eating mutton and all this weird stuff.
He has no idea what happened.
He has no one knows what's going on. He's like, wait, what? There's an explosion? What's going on? And sure as hell, it was just a big trick by mom to try to get him to try to get Billups back on as king.
Get Billups in bed.
Yeah. All the while, Mariner and Boimler, they're off on their side mission, trying to transport the evil computer to a starbase, if I'm not mistaken. Was it a starbase?
I think it was no, it's to the Daystrom Institute.
To the Daystrom Institute. Okay. So to transport that, and they get sucked into some weird, is it a wormhole or some kind of weird?
It's a gravity well.
Some kind of weird thing, and they crash land, and it's essentially them. They're trying to survive, and the computer is trying its hardest to try to trick one of them into letting him hook into another, like one of the down ships.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite part. I know this is your favorite part. I've taken over the show. Why don't you go ahead and tell us what's going
No,
on after
no,
this?
I love it. I love it. The thing is, I want to talk about Jeffrey Combs though,
Okay, cool.
because I think Jeffrey Combs is Star Trek Hall of Fame. There is an episode of Deep Space Nine where he plays 3 characters. I'm not
Yep.
even joking.
Yep.
He has obviously played 3 characters in Deep Space Nine around the show, but then there's one episode where they get all 3 of those characters in one episode. I thought it was excellent. He's in Voyager for an episode when they have a little crossover.
He's in
Enterprise. He's my favorite character in Enterprise. I love that character.
He's definitely. I mean, he's such a strong actor who actually, yeah,
Shran.
who also auditioned for the role of Riker.
I can't see it.
No, I can't either.
I can't see it.
No, I mean nobody can now, obviously at this point. But
even back then, like I can't just like I know what he was doing back then. I can't see it.
And I think it's a blessing in disguise. I know he wanted a more solid role, I guess, for Star Trek. But I think it worked out great with him playing all these different roles and being able to stretch his acting limbs, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean he's also in Next Gen, but I don't remember what character he plays in Next Gen.
I believe he was a Ferengi in one.
He's a Ferengi and he's Brunt in DS9.
That's right. Yeah, he's Brunt in DS9.
He's Wayun and Brunt in DS9, and one other character who I don't recall the name of.
Okay, so DS9, yeah, he was Brunt. He was Tyron in DS9 as well.
Right.
Wayun 4, Wayun 5, Prophet, another Wayun.
All the Wayuns.
All the Wayuns, yeah. I don't know why. He was a Mirror Universe Brunt in there.
Yeah, I remember that.
Shran Krem in Enterprise. He was also in. He was another thing in Enterprise.
Oh, I don't know about. I forgot about Krem.
Yeah.
In Voyager, fun fact, he's in the episode that has Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's first ever acting appearance.
Yep, where he's in the arena.
Mm-hmm. Can you believe that The Rock was in Star Trek Voyager?
So that's how you know that Star Trek is such a great series.
Oh, that's how. It's because The Rock was in it.
It doesn't say. I'm not seeing anything for TNG.
I could have sworn. Maybe I'm thinking of Armin Sherman, who is Quark.
Yeah,
he was also in TNG.
He was for sure.
Yeah, he was the first Ferengi we saw, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Not Quark.
No, he was not. He was.
I might be thinking of that. I seem to recall. No, that must have been Armin Sherman too. He was like a box or something, like a silver box with a face on it.
Either way,
a lot of stupid stuff in Star Trek. Well, anyway, Jeffrey Combs is an incredible actor, an incredible voice actor, and to see him back in Star Trek is incredible. And to see him as an evil computer is just so good. Like you can't have Star Trek without Jeffrey Combs. Discovery and Picard would be infinitely better if they had Jeffrey Combs. They wouldn't, but they should have Jeffrey Combs. Anyway, so Mariner and Boimler are now stranded on this planet, and they can't plug in this computer, but this computer seems to be getting to Boimler. And Mariner is so sick of the computer, of the replicator giving her black licorice.
And she's starting to get sick of Boimler because she keeps on saying, you keep on falling for all this stuff. You're not ready for these away missions, yada, yada. And she's actually the one that actually got him on this mission with her because she felt like he wasn't ready for the other mission.
Which is really messed up on Mariner's part.
It is very messed up, but selfish because that she had other intentions, but she didn't want to go alone. She was just being a brat.
Yeah.
Right?
She likes Boimler. Whether or not romantically or not, she likes Boimler.
Yeah. And so the whole episode we're led to believe that is it Artemis or Artemis? No, it's not Artemis.
I think Artemis.
Artemis is the devil
god
thing. The devil god, yeah.
Yeah.
Artemis. So we were led to believe that this computer is manipulating Boimler and it's starting to get to him, and sure as hell, like he ends up fighting Mariner, knocking her down and stealing the computer.
One of the best scenes of the whole show.
Loved it. Especially once we get down to the reveal.
Yeah, because Boimler and Mariner, this has been building for so long. For episodes, this has been building up. That Mariner resents him for leaving on the Titan still.
But even when they had that 2 episodes ago, when we had that moment where they finally reconciled, remember that?
Yeah.
When they went to go try to crash the ball and they end up going in the bar and they
Mhm.
had the Cricket Spock moment with the thing. I thought that was great, but yeah, I kind of like that there's still some unfinished business.
Yeah.
It leaves a little bit more.
The thing is, the Mariner just doesn't trust that Boimler doesn't trust Boimler really. Right at this point, she thinks that Boimler is still this Starfleet officer who needs protection, and that he's not ready for the kind of like big sci-fi things that they have to do. And Boimler kind
It's
of
so odd
is so fed
because
up about this.
yeah, and I could see why, because just in the last episode that we just talked about, he saved the day in the mess hall with Tendi when she turned into a
Yeah,
big blob, right? And
yeah,
she showed he showed all the other red shirts that he can do this, right?
yeah. But
And that
Mariner
actually that actually makes me think, where was Mariner? Was Mariner in that? She was in the
Mariner
room.
Mariner was in the room, but she's so
Saw that.
selfish. She's so selfish that she doesn't see it.
Yeah.
And that's kind of Mariner's arc in this
So
in the
no,
season, is trying
I
to get
may
around her
now I'm
selfishness.
thinking that it may not be selfishness in the sense that she's jealous that he's being so successful. I think it's more she wants to be around him more, and she'll do whatever she can now to have him, because she knows that he is actually becoming a little bit more, because she has seen him.
Oh, you mean to say that she is worried that she's losing him because he's
Yes,
getting better as a Starfleet officer.
I think so. Maybe now
Yeah.
that would make more sense. But then also add in a possible romantic factor. Then I see this being wow. I'm like, this is blowing my mind right now, because I think that now there's more layers to this onion that I'm starting to love even more with this dynamic. I like it.
It, that means that she's negging him this whole episode, like, you're not ready, you're not ready, you're not ready. No, even though she knows that realistically he is. She's trying to convince him that he's not, so that he'll stay
Remind
with her.
Remind me though, what was her react? Okay, so let's go to the big surprise, because I'm
The
about
big
to
reveal.
I'm about to spoil it right now.
Go ahead.
So after Boimler whoops her butt, which is weird, and
She had a sling, to be
yeah,
fair.
true, um, and he takes the computer to another ship, and he plugs in, and he's like, "I got you," and the computer's like, what do you mean? It's like, oh, you're just controlling the dimmer switch. Like the whole point of me bringing you in here was so that he can send a distress call, use your signal. And Mariner came in, she's like, what you did all this? He goes, yeah, I had to make it look real, sorry about that, by the way. And he goes, no way. And then he's like,
I'm gonna blind you.
I'm gonna blind you. Yeah. And it goes, that had me rolling right there.
Yeah, that's
And
pretty good.
what now remind me, what was her initial reaction when he unveiled his master plan all along? Do you
She
recall?
was she was happy for it, because she was like, "Oh, I can't believe he did this." Because she has shown throughout the episode, when he does a thing that surprises her, she's always
So
happy to see it happen.
yes. So I think that this, in her mind, I bet you that the previous episode with Tendi in the mess hall, she was probably thinking in her head, like, okay, I wonder if this was just a one-off, like he got lucky kind of thing and was able to save the day. And now that he saved the day again in this next episode, man, this dude is really starting to be awesome. And I think she's genuinely happy for him.
Yeah, that could be. I do
I
think
think
that
that's what it is now.
I do think that,
I
she
love
likes
working
him.
through this with you, man. It just
Yeah.
gets me thinking like all weird directions.
It's a good show, man. Like,
Yeah.
I don't I remember seeing in the first season, when people were just like, "Oh, Star Trek Lower Decks is just a bunch of reference humor, of an Easter egg Star Trek," and it's like, there's so much more than that. I don't recall a single in your face Easter egg in this episode.
No, but even still, like even with the with Easter eggs, they never relied on him for the on the part of the story. It was always just a supplemental, like either jab or joke or what have you.
Or to make
Right?
the universe feel like it was lived in, like this are
Yes.
characters that live in
Yes.
this world.
Exactly. Yeah, we spoke about that I think a few episodes ago. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that like I just think the Star Trek Lower Decks is really good. And
Yes.
the black licorice bit in this episode killed me when they finally get those like fruit from them there. She's like, "Oh, black licorice." That was really funny.
That was the one thing that I couldn't understand. Me personally, black licorice is my favorite kind of
Oh,
licorice.
it's
I could eat that
disgusting.
all
It's
day. I could eat
disgusting.
that all day. Next episode, I'm just gonna start chewing a big thing of black licorice the
I'll
entire
have a
episode.
big thing of red licorice, like a normal human being.
Oh, it's funny.
Yeah, I think that the show's excellent. Only what is it? 3 more episodes until the
3
end?
more. Episode 18, 19, and 20.
Ooh, I'm not ready.
But oh wow. The next season, they already have oh no, they don't have they do have dates. No, they don't.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Well, it will be the Thursday, the 30th. Because
No,
it
no, no.
ends
I'm sorry
just
for season 3.
Oh yeah, for season 3, we'll probably won't see it until next year.
Yeah, because I'm looking on Memory Alpha right now, and it just has a generic number, just late. It just says December 31st, 2022 for all their episodes. So it's just next year.
I really like the design of that new of that fantasy ship. I thought that looked really cool, and I thought it was really funny where it's just like the dragon breath engines, and it's like it's just antimatter. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
We just call it fantasy shit. Billups, by the way.
Going back to Rutherford real quick. I mean, it's just his love for engineering is just I love it. He's like a kid in a toy store.
Billups is such an interesting character that we never spend time with. We haven't seen him have like more than one line of dialogue this whole season, and it was cool to see where he came from because he's human, but he's not just human. He comes from a different planet. He's ripped for some reason. And like when he, I'll say it, when he like gets his like fantasy garb, he's like conventionally handsome. And it was crazy.
Let's not forget the hand painting of him in the in the halls of the castle were great.
I thought that
he's just some like,
it's such a weird thing to do because we know, like obviously we know that most of these people we know from their species, we know where they came from. But we don't know anything about Billups and to get like this weirdly outlandish, very in line with Lower Decks, very in line with Star Trek original series idea of where this guy came from was just so out of left field.
Yeah,
I
you know what
loved it.
I'm loving too is that like the first season, I really thought that Boimler and Mariner were like the main characters.
Yeah,
that's what I really felt. But like this season, we're seeing every character getting fleshed out of the Lower Decks, obviously, not the main bridge crew. But it's so refreshing to not have everything just. And that's what's great about this Star Trek show is just it's the same as like Next Generation, where every character kind of has their own episode kind of thing ish.
Yeah.
I mean, we learn more about each character.
It's the benefit of having an episodic TV series because you can have an episode that deals with Tendi or Rutherford or Boimler or Mariner, and you never have to deal with the fact that like, Michael Burnham always has to come in and save the day. Sorry, at the dig at Discovery. I like Discovery. It's fine. I don't mean to piss on it all the time. Look, it's a fine show. I'm just sick of Michael Burnham. But to have like this episodic idea of what Star Trek is, and Star Trek flourishes as an episodic show because they have such large dynamic casts and you can really flesh them out in episodic format. I didn't like Rutherford in the first season.
I love him, and I like now I love him, and
I'm so into this character now.
I hope that we see a little bit something more of maybe his past because he doesn't remember a lot. It'd be nice to see. It'd be kind of fun to see him like maybe on his home world or maybe like as a home ship of some sort where he sees his family and he has to try to like remember. They like he has no memory of that, right?
Yeah.
So I think that'd be kind of fun to kind of see.
Well, I'm excited for the next episode. Did Cookie ever give you any reviews for these?
I was just about to check, and I haven't gotten anything. So Cookie, I think he's still trying to figure out why this show is so much better than all Star Wars that's coming out right now. So,
Oh man,
that poor
I
guy.
don't even agree with
He's gonna
you.
lose sleep. Cookie, if you're listening to this, don't lose sleep, man. It just accept it for what it is. And for those of you, real quick, Star Wars Visions just came out, and if you
Don't
really want to
don't
see a really
don't.
great show, just watch Star Trek Lower Decks because it's just great.
Oh man.
I'm that guy.
I doubt any Star Wars fans are watching this, but if you are, I'm sorry. I haven't seen Visions. I can't comment, but I'm excited for it. Okay.
Yeah, I was kidding. Visions is fine.
Let's end it there before you piss off another fandom. Why don't you plug your show?
Let's see. Right now, Downright Annoyed with movies. We have, by the time this airs, we will have just watched Vampire Hunter D, courtesy of Pinky's Out Podcast. It's a weekly show movie review show that we do every Sunday, either on my show, on my channel, or on Bored and Annoyed's channel. So make sure you guys check out those. We'll find out what we're watching the following week. So make sure you check it out and follow me on Downright Nerdy Podcast on Instagram for any more updates as to what's going on with me.
Are there any downright nerdy shows coming in the future?
So was talking about with Riley, we may be doing something related to Harry Potter for the holidays. But actual episodes, if we do, we're gonna try to shoot for mid-October for shooting another show.
Okay.
We have been working a lot of weekends. She's actually work right now on a Saturday,
Sure.
and I got to work on tomorrow morning a little bit. So it's hit and miss right now, but we're hoping, like a lot of times the holidays is a busy time for a lot of people. For us, it's lightweight, the opposite. So hopefully that translates into some episodes being released. Fingers crossed.
Very cool. Well, I look forward to it.
Appreciate it.
Other than that, make sure to subscribe to his channel, Downright Nerdy on YouTube. You can find half of the Downright Annoyed episodes, and the other half are on Bored and Annoyed.
Yep.
My co-host of the Fiction Podcast, Ryan, is on that show as well.
Yeah.
So check out all that cool stuff, and you can check out the other shows on our channel. This is Fake Nerds Watch. This is the second Fake Nerds Watch series happening right now. There's also Star Trek. What If? We're doing What If. Talk about a fine show. I'm getting so frustrated with that show. Anyway, that's not for this show.
I didn't even say it that time.
I know. I'm so. It's not for the show. It's not for the show. It's for the next show that we're going to record. So check out What If for Fake Nerds Watch, and there's other things. If you like this video and you subscribe to this channel, you get tons of other content, guys. We got Basement Arcade, which is our Let's Play series. We have more content coming out from there. I'm so excited for the content coming from Basement Arcade. Man, you have no idea. And then there is Basement Arcade Pause Menu. Ben Magnet, that's his show. He's killing it on that show. He's been talking to a lot of cool people. New episodes coming whenever he records them, but it's great stuff. There is Animation Station. There is a new episode of Animation Station out now where Sparks and I got to talk about Adventure Time Distant Lands Obsidian, which is the second Adventure Time Distant Lands special, all about Marceline and Bubblegum. And I loved it, and I love talking about it. And then there's Fake Nerd Book Club. Whenever that comes back, I don't know. Then that's it.
Maybe you could do a Fake Nerd audio book club where after I read or listen to Kate Mulgrew's audio book, we could do that.
Oh, you know what? That actually reminds me. There is a book club. There's a Fake Nerd Book Club coming, and it's about Dune. We're going to be talking about the Dune book.
Okay.
The
I only read the first. The actual graphic novel, the one that came.
The novel.
Oh wow. Oh geez.
Yeah.
That you talk to Ken from Pinky's Out. He's a huge Dune guy.
There's actually quite a few people on your Downright Annoyed group who want to be on that episode. So
cool. I'm not one of them.
That's fine. I'm barely one of them. No, it's a good book. I'm really enjoying reading it. I'm more than halfway through now. It's awesome.
The House Atreides comic book isn't bad though.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, I've only read the first 2 issues. It's on issue 4 or 5, but it's not bad.
Cool. So we got Fake Nerd Book Club for that. There'll be a novel. So maybe you and I can do the Janeway. The Janeway.
Oh, a Janeway. Yeah. Give me a. I got to see what the time thing is for that. I mean, if it's like a 15-hour audio book, then it'll take me some time to get through it. Just work wise, just because
Whenever you get it done,
I only do that. I only listen to audiobooks and podcasts on my to and from work.
I get that. Whenever you get it done, let me know.
Yeah.
And we'll coordinate something. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so you heard it here first. It's 2 new episodes of Fake Nerd Book Club coming down the pipeline. And of course, there's the audio shows, Conversation, which is a show that I do where I talk to podcasters. I'm unfortunately going to put that show on hiatus after the next episode. There is a new episode out now where I talk to Travis Alexander from the Kaiju Weekly podcast. As I mentioned in that episode, I started working again, and I hate it. So, and I was not able to record new episodes, and I'm sadly going to have to put that on hiatus until I can start recording new episodes of that show. And I will get it back on the air as soon as I can, because I love that show. It's incredible.
Well, when you do, I mean, there's a couple of podcasters that would probably love to be on it.
I've been trying to get you on it. I texted you this week. Hey, you want to record a conversation? You didn't get back to me.
Really?
I did.
I
did. You're the reason why it's on hiatus. No, you're not. I'm sorry,
man. I did not. I must have just glazed over it. I'm sorry.
It's fine. We will coordinate that. I'm gonna do the same thing I did with season 1, which was I'm gonna record a bunch of episodes and then start releasing them as soon as I'm done. So that show will come back. I love that show. I won't let it die. But of course, there is the Fake Nerd podcast, which is our mothership show, which is the show where we talk about news, and we have a movie review coming this week. By the time this is up, we will have either just done or are going to do a live recording on Sundays. We do that every Sunday of Malignant, the James Wan new horror movie. And did you hate that one too?
I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, that's fair.
It's interesting to me, though. I want to see it. I just haven't gotten around to it yet.
Personally, I liked it. So
cool. Yeah, actually, Jackson, he's the horror guy in our Downright Annoyed with Movies kind of thing, and he said it was fine. It was a fine flick.
Cool. Yeah, and then we'll have something coming up after that. I don't know what yet, but stay tuned.
Venom 2 possibly.
No, we're not going to do Venom 2.
Ah.
Halloween Kills comes out that same week, so we're going to do Halloween Kills instead.
Got it.
And Sparks really doesn't want to watch Venom 2, so I'm not even going to approach the idea of doing a review for that. I'm going to watch it, though. All right, that's it. So we got tons of stuff on this channel. Make sure to like this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Make sure to subscribe to his channel. Subscribe to his podcast.
Just kind of realize if you want to check out more Star Trek talk with me and Brandon and other folks, I did a whole thing on Star Trek The Next Generation. We went season by season and talked about it. So check out our backlog.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I really like doing that more than I liked talking about Picard.
Yeah, because that whole thing was in preparation for Picard, and who would have thought that would have been more fun?
Yeah, who would have thought? Anyway, that does it. So stay tuned for the next episode. We will talk about the next episode of Star Trek Lower Decks. Again, subscribe to both of our channels. Subscribe to the Cookie's channel also, please. He's not here to say that, so I will say it for him. Just a little podcast.
Probably crying
that Star Trek is Star Wars isn't as good.
Yeah, I mean, who can blame him?
So mean.
I love you, Cookie. I love you.
All right, until next time, guys. Live long and prosper.